Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering our sixth video of the series Businesses from A to Z. So let's get right into it. So far we've covered 5 businesses. Today we're going to be covering the 6th business. So far we've covered A for Apple, B for Boeing, C for Coca-Cola, D for Delta, and E for Enterprise. So we've covered 5 of the businesses, and in today's video we're going to be covering the 6th one. And the 6th one is F for Ford. Location and year. Ford was founded in June 13th, 1903, and it was founded in Detroit, Michigan. The founder of Ford. Henry Ford is the founder of Ford. He founded the company when he was 39 years old. He was born on July 30th, 1863, and died April 7th, 1947. He was the founder of the Ford Motor Company, and he was also the creator of the assembly line. Henry Ford was an American industrialist, a businessman, and the founder of Ford Motor Company and the chief developer of the assembly line technique of mass production. By creating the first automobile that middle-class Americans could afford, he converted the automobile from an expensive curiosity into an accessible convenience that would profoundly impact the landscape of the 20th century. Henry Ford was born July 30th, 1863, on a farm in Greenville Township, Michigan. His father, William Ford, was born on 1826 and died in 1905. He was also a businessman. He was born in County Clark, Ireland, to a family which immigrated to southwest England. In 1891, Ford became an engineer with Edison Illuminating Company of Detroit. After his promotion to the chief engineer in 1893, the founder of this was Thomas Edison. He had enough time and money to devote attention to his personal experiments on the gasoline engines that power automobiles. These experiments culminated in 1896 with the compilation of a self-propelled vehicle, which he named the Ford Quadricycle. He drove it on June 4th. After various test drives, Ford brainstormed ways to improve the quadricycle. Also in 1896, Ford attended a meeting of Edison's executives where he was introduced to Thomas Edison. Edison approved of Ford's automobile exportation, encouraged by Edison. Ford designed and built a second vehicle, completing it in 1898. He, backed by the capital of the Detroit lumber baron William H. Murphy, Ford resigned from the Edison Company and founded his own company. Henry Ford resigned from the Thomas Edison's light bulb company, and he founded his own automobile company on August 5th, 1898 in Detroit. However, the automobiles produced were lower of quality and a higher price than Ford wanted. Ultimately, the company was not successful and was dissolved in January 1901. In response, Malcolmson brought in another group of investors and convinced the Dodge brothers to accept the portion of the company. Now, to make the 3 co-founders of the company, Ford and Malcolmson was reincorporated as the Ford Motor Company, but the Dodge brothers did not want to be a part of the Ford Company, but would like to promote and be a sponsor for the Ford Motor Company. On June 16, 1903, with the 28,000 capital, the original investors included Ford and Malcolmson and the Dodge brothers as a sponsorship. Malcolmson's uncle John S. Gray, Malcolm's secretary laws James Cousin, and 2 of Malcolm's lawyers, John W. Anderson and Horace Rackham. Ford then demonstrated a newly designed car on the ice of Lake St. Clair, driving 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers in 39.4 seconds. This was the first test of the automobile that middle-class citizens can afford, and up to Ford's extent, he was amazed on how well his automobile was doing, setting a new land speed record at 91.3 miles per hour, which is basically 146.9 kilometers per hour. Convinced by this success and his happiness of its success, the race car driver Barney Oldfield, which was a famous race car driver who named the new Ford Model 999 in the honor of the fastest locomotive of the day, took the car around the country, making the Ford brand known throughout the United States. He was a part of this company. He was a part of the company, and Ford was great. It was greatly appreciated to have him to promote his business. Ford also was one of the early backers of the Indianapolis 500. On December 1st, 1903, Ford installs the first moving assembly line. He co-creates the first moving assembly line to mass produce his automobiles, an entire automobile. His innovation reduced the time so that it took the car to build a car from more than 12 hours to 2 hours and 30 minutes if they worked efficiently. The most significant piece of Ford's efficiency crusade was the assembly line. The CEO of Ford. The CEO of Ford is Jim Hackett. He first started being the CEO in 1994 to 2014, and then retired. He saw how much the Ford company was succeeding, and he succeeded to be the Ford CEO. In 2017, he regained the position of CEO, and he's still the current CEO. The Hackett family originally moved to central Ohio via Country Carlow in the county Galloway in Ireland. Hackett is a 1977 graduate of the University of Michigan, where he played on the football team. He holds a bachelor's degree in general studies. From 1977 to 1981, Hackett held sales and management positions at Procter and Gamble in Detroit, Michigan. Hackett spent 30 years with the Grand Rapids-based office furniture company Steelcase. He joined Steelcase in 1981, holding a variety of sales and marketing positions. In 1994, Hackett was named CEO at age 39, making him the youngest leader in history of the company. He had held the position for nearly 20 years before retiring in 2004. During his tenure, Steelcase eliminated nearly 12,000 employees as part of downsizing, restructuring of the business. He also led the company to acquire a major stake in Idaho in 1996. During his time, Hackett became a proponent of design thinking, which focuses on how humans experience a product. Hackett stayed on as vice chairman of the company from 2014 to 2015. He was an intern director of the athletics at the University of Michigan, his alma mater. From the October 31st to 2014, March 11, 2016, Hackett led the hiring of the former San Francisco 49ers coach and the fellow Jim Herringberg of the university's football coach. He donated $300,000 to his annual $600,000 salary as the intern athletic director to Athletic Connected, a program that designs to support the mental health of students athletes. In 2013, Hackett joined Ford Motor Company's board of directors. He served on the Sustainability Innovation Committee and of nominating and government's committees. Hackett oversaw the formation of the Ford Smart Mobility, a unit responsible for experimenting with car sharing programs at the Ford Motor Company, with its self-driving ventures and other programs aimed at helping Ford better compete with Uber, Alphabet Inc., and other tech giants looking to the edge of the auto industry. On May 27, 2019, Hackett succeeded to be the CEO of the Ford Motor Company again. He is also the member of the company. He was also named again a member of the company of the board of directors. The move came from Ford announced cuts to its global workforce amid its efforts to address the company's declining share price to improve its profits. The company is targeting $3 billion in cost reduction and nearly 10% in the salaried workforce in Asia and North America. To enhance this earnings in 2018, they hired Jim Hackett as the CEO of Ford. Hackett's services on the board of directors for Northwestern Mutual Life in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Steelcase Foundation in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He is a member of the Executive Committee of the Board of Technologies for the National Center of Arts and Technologies, as well as the Board of Advisors. He's a very big businessman and is very known throughout the U.S. He is a past president of the Institute of the Design Board of the Overseas at the Illinois Institute of Technology, where he volunteers. How big? Ford has 190,000 employees. It's stationed in over 200 countries. It has 6 types of automobiles, and its revenue is about $7.61 billion, and its highest mark revenue was $9 billion plus. Now it's time for the facts and fun facts. Their first fact and fun fact is Ford is the second largest family-owned company in the world. Henry Ford's great-grandson, William Clay Ford, Jr., currently resides as the company's executive chairman. The second one is the very first Ford sold to Dr. Fang in 1903 was a grand total of $850. Now it is much more, ranging from $25,000 all the way to $60,000 to $80,000. The Model A had a two-cylinder engine and could reach a max speed of 30 miles per hour. Ford's current CEO Hackett or Jim Hackett currently owns the first Ford vehicle ever sold in 1903. Henry Ford and Thomas Edison were lifelong friends, as requested by Ford. Thomas Edison's son captured Edison's last exhale in a test tube and sealed it with the cork Ford kept as the tube, as mentioned, as Edison's life and breath. He captured Thomas Edison's breath in a tube. Ford signature blue. The Ford signature blue, the oval logo, was not introduced until 4 years after the company had already been in production and mass producing the Ford automobile using the assembly line. In 1914, Ford offered its employees double the current market average, creating Henry Ford's $5 a day. The new salary, accomplished by a shorter worker day and company profit sharing, minimized employee turnover and was significant in the middle class and fair wages movement. Henry Ford was quoted saying he wanted to help his workers and life, not just living, but to also not just living to a life and not just a living. His principles was always to help his employees, to help. He believed that if he did good to his employees, his company would be great. So company would be great. That's all I have for you guys today. We'll see you guys on the next one.